All right, Michael, thank you. Let's bring in Steve Drazkowski, the state senator of Minnesota. This is your state, Steve. And it's looking like these streets, at least this corridor in Minneapolis, is in shambles. It's in the control of these protesters. Federal authorities are trying their best to push them back, but it's not working. What has to happen, Steve?
This is a tragedy that we are in this position. The leadership in this state, you are seeing now the product of the lack of leadership in this state, really institutional corruption throughout the executive branches, both in the state of Minnesota and the city of Minneapolis. And you're seeing that in the words from Jacob Frey and Tim Walz. What needs to happen is you need real leadership that comes forward and urges the people to be calm and urges the people to cooperate with law enforcement instead of treating them like the enemy. Unfortunately, there is a pervasive ideology amongst this far left faction here in this state, which is evident and in the lack of leadership in both Governor Walz and Mayor Frey. This far left element is something that they need to keep and continue to maintain power. So what really needs to happen, and like the last speaker talked about, we need to bring all of the elements of law enforcement together. We need truly the leaders of this state to come forward and say that they support law enforcement, they support the rule of law, but I'm afraid that probably isn't going to happen because we know these two individuals and their ties to the far left Marxist elements, which you're seeing on the screen in front of you. If I was governor today, I would call in the National Guard and have them help law enforcement to keep the anarchists back and allow law enforcement of all sorts to do their job, to get the job done, and bring Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota back to normalcy.
Okay, so that's where you stand. You want the National Guard brought in. You just heard Michael Balboni say enough is enough. So are you officially calling on the president right now to call in the National Guard, to send in National Guard troops to get this under control?
No, I am not. That's the president's call. That is an extraordinary act. The governor of this state has the National Guard from Minnesota on standby now. And so the governor has the capability, if he truly wants to keep the peace, which he hasn't indicated he does, if he wants to keep the peace, he calls in the National Guard. No extraordinary things need to happen. No insurrection act has to happen from the president's end. The governor has the authority and the ability to bring in the National Guard to keep the peace. It took him 4 days during George Floyd's riot in which he stood back and watched the decimation of the city of Minneapolis and watched it be destroyed before he finally brought in the National Guard. This is his modus operandi. He has the ability to bring them in to work with and on behalf and for the rule of law and with law enforcement. He can do that now.
I want to read to you what the Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, just posted on X, and he writes this: a would-be assassin tried to murder federal law enforcement, and the official Democrat account sides with the terrorists. ICE agents shot and killed another person in Minneapolis this morning. Get ICE out of Minnesota. That's from the Democrats. So he's responding to that. He's saying, Stephen Miller says, an assassin tried to murder federal agents, and this is your response. I mean, that's kind of what I think that's what the glaring disconnect is for some people watching this, is that there's been a deadly shooting, which is horribly tragic. Everyone can agree on that. There needs to be an investigation. They're trying to conduct an investigation. But now you have this protest that has gotten out of control. They're not listening to law enforcement agents on the ground. They're not going away. They're not letting these agents conduct their lawful activities. And at the same time, you have local and state leaders that are not telling these protesters to disbar. They're not telling them to back off.
It is the, again, it's all about politics and power for Tim Walz and Jacob Frey. So they are interested in developing and forwarding and sustaining a narrative that enables and emboldens these anarchists to operate. And so that's what they're doing. In reality, what needs to happen is that they need to bring all elements of law enforcement, and that could include the Minnesota National Guard, to come in and support law enforcement in their ability to bring peace and to enforce the law.
Okay. All right, State Senator Steve Drazkowski, thank you for joining us, and we hope there is calm in your state soon.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.